everyone, Cheraye, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are here, as you read by the title, for another Get Ready With Me. I shouldn't say another because that other one is going to probably go up after my birthday sometime next week. So technically this is the first Get Ready With Me you guys are seeing. I got a couple compliments on it, even in person, about how my base was starting to look now that I've changed it around and like added some things, took some things out. So I wanted to come to y'all and put y'all on. Also, I wanted to get something else besides like a basic ass look up before my birthday. Let's start with the products so that I can talk while I'm doing the look. So you are going to need a primer. Mine is across the room, so I'm not gonna get up and get it. But I use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer today because it is really good for heavier looks, for not more so that it is heavy, but like I'm talking about I'm wearing foundation, concealer, more concealer, like it's just the perfect base. But that one, I actually noticed a bit of a difference the last few times that I've used it in combination with my skincare routine. In terms of getting rid of my hyperpigmentation, hiding it, I used the Fenty concealer in the shade 400. It's red toned, so what I would recommend is going to the red tone shade above yours rather than trying to find a red color corrector. So I'm kind of going off with this. On a normal day, I do not care about my dark marks because it's just who I am. It's something that I just have, you know. I don't care to cover them. Then for foundation is the Fenty Beauty Hydrating in 390. So this is actually gonna be dark soon because I see myself getting lighter by the day. So this is the tricky part, but we'll get to it when we actually get there. First, I use foundation stick on the outer corner. Then towards the inner corner is the Fenty Beauty Concealer in 350. Then I would use the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette, this white shade, literally a dot. With my birthday coming up, I kind of wanted to talk to you all about what I've learned in the last year. Basically meaning what I've learned since November 2019 up until November 2020. I was still studying to be a nurse in college this time last year, and I hated it after a while because when you are studying to be in the medical field, it really humbles you. I felt like my mental health, despite all I experienced in my life, and especially last year, I was like, my mental health is still gonna power through. I'm gonna be so strong. And it humbled me very quickly. By probably like mid-September, I was very humbled. And we started in August. It was not even a full month at that point. And I don't regret studying to be a nurse because I've always wanted to do it. It was one of my biggest dreams. But sometimes you gotta let your dreams go, and I talked about that too in the other video. But it still, again, taught me so much. And now that I'm studying to be an esthetician, I'm actually learning some things that I already learned all over again. As you can see, I'm putting the foundation around the perimeter of my face rather than going up to where I'm going to put the concealer, because that makes less and less layers around my entire face, meaning it will not feel as heavy. It's not prone to move as much in my experience. So don't build up products where you know you're going to put other products. Obviously, you're going to contour or bronze or whatnot, but you still have to put it there as the first layer. But with concealers, I find that you really don't have to, because you're just going to lighten the area anyway. So it doesn't really make sense to put products there. That's kind of why people are now starting to do the routine backwards so that they use even less foundation. But I'm not that advanced, okay? I don't want to do all of that now. In comparison to last year, I'm a lot happier, even though quarantine happened and everything, and we're still in quarantine. I don't know why people act like we're not. I understand that you miss your friends. I miss mine too, just as much, don't get me wrong. But going out to parties or whatnot and seeing multiple friends at a time is so dangerous, and it's really sad, and I miss them a lot, and I will get to see them at some point. But like, you don't have to see all of your friends at once. just be safe, you know? Maybe you see one or two at a time, especially if y'all have not all been quarantined. If y'all have all been quarantined, even better, but I still would not see more than like 2-3 people at a time. It's just asking for it, okay? Because even if you did not have it the night before and knew not to go, you could have caught it on the way there. Back to what I've learned. I reconnected and I started watching a lot of tarot readings. I started looking more into astrology and stuff like that. I was already really into astrology, but now that we're up to concealer, I'll get a little bit closer. I'm going to put it on the outer side. If you look straight, you can see where your pupil, like the middle of your pupil is, and you use that as a landmark almost, and not go further than that. I know it's hard to tell because I'm at like an angle, so you can't really see straight on. But since I'm already used to it, I know where to go basically, and that's about how much I would use. I would not use more than that. So then with the Fenty, I'm gonna go in just like that. By doing this, it still creates the full coverage look, and it's gradient, so it's not all really bright. It's a more wearable version of what you will probably see other people doing, where it's just all bright. I want it to be more so bright on the inner part, and this is the first step of that. Like I said, I was studying to be a nurse, and I was only supposed to be taking 1 semester off, not like completely dropping out. Being an esthetician doesn't have to be a forever thing, just the same way that being a nurse might not ever happen. Like, there's so many possibilities in this world, and before that used to be something that triggered my anxiety so much, but now it's something that actually really excites me, and I'm just happy to be alive, and it makes me emotional. So like, I'm trying not to cry because I was so miserable last year. I was so miserable, and I just had no time to do anything but school, work, sleep, school, work, sleep. I was just really glad to be out of that situation. And then the pandemic happened, and I'm just like, okay, so now I'm out of school, out of work. My anxiety and depression got so bad once again. But then again, my spiritual journey started, and it was just something that I was naturally called towards. It was not like, oh, I got recommended a tarot reading, so let me just watch that, and then boom, that happened. In terms of this concealer, we're going to blend darkest to lightest, because you're not going to want to blend the inner and then drag it to the outside, because then it's like, what's the point? You're just mixing it at that point, so you might as well have layered it. You want the gradient, and I also drag it up to snatch that eyeshadow up. As you can see, the concealer, even though it was right here initially, I'm still bringing it upwards because that's naturally where it's going to go anyway. That's why you leave that gap. Are we seeing each other right now? I think we are. And the concealer also goes to the nose because it helps to snatch the nose. By the way, I mainly figured out this routine and this look and fell in love with it with these 2 Instagram looks. I don't know where I'm going to put them, so I'm going to put my fingers down and let Cheraye of the future handle that. What else happened this year? I started exercising a lot during quarantine, and I feel like I took off weight. I can't really tell, though, because my scale is broken. It's been helping me deal with my anger a lot, and my anger has not been as bad until recently. I don't know why my anger got bad again, but it's a little ghetto. By the way, I took the lightest shade here, and as you saw, there's like the smallest amount, and I'm starting to blend it so that I can get really in there where my eye bag is. I feel like this year has been my year, period. But then to top it off, like my birthday and everything is on Black Friday. So I'm like, yeah, this is definitely my year. This is definitely my year. Because I'm going to spend so much fucking money on my birthday. That is no cap. How many times in your life had you had your birthday on Black Friday? Exactly. Probably 0. Because you're probably not born around me. That just proves to me that I'm destined to spend money. Sorry. As y'all saw, I also put some concealer right here. Down my nose. Right here. And in the center. It creates just this glowy, like really highlighted look without, again, a lot of product, without really trying. So that's why you have to be a little bit bold and go with the light shade sometimes, you know what I'm saying? It's a little scary. It's a little intimidating, but it's approachable. I just did a really simple eye look because the focus is the base today. When you are doing this, please do not put it right in the crease, right here. And I will say the same thing about blush. Do not smile and then put it right here and then leave it. It's so important to go above. So look, I'm not going to go right here and put it because it's naturally going to dip down into there. So you want to go a bit above so that when you actually blend it out, it dips down into there. So of course, it's right above it, but then you bring it down and it forms this beautiful hollow in your cheeks. Come on. I'm sure that some of y'all have heard this already, but people be asking, how's your skin so smooth? How does it look so good? These are the little details. Know your face structure. Obviously, the hollow of your cheek is not going to be in the same place as mine. But regardless, if you're putting it right in the hollow, especially right here, child, that's not going to look good. For me personally, I feel like you should not wait with bronzer or contour or whatnot the same way that you would with concealer or foundation, because again, you're going to be sitting here blending for a little bit. So if you're waiting on top of that and you're letting it settle in, you want it to settle in exactly where you're blending it out. You know what I'm saying? With each product that you're using, there's going to be a different amount of time that you can let things sit in. But just a rule of thumb in general, with contour or bronzer, you're not trying to let that sit for a while, baby. You're not. Because as soon as you let it sit, it's not moving. Like, for example, if I'm using a really mattifying or really dry product, I'm not going to let it sit around and like melt into my skin, because it's not going to melt into my skin. It's going to dry up in that one specific spot and never move. But I'm using mainly dewy things, so I can let it sit a little bit. Do y'all see that? I need the camera to focus. Come on now. I does this. I simply do it. And then boom, whatever you have left, you want to intensify your chin a little bit. At least I do. If you're trying to follow and you're around the same skin tone as me, I'm using the darker one, baby. We're snatched over here, period. So I'm going to go from all the way up here. I'm not going to start at the brows because that's where you want the least amount of coverage in terms of it, because it will not blend away, trust me. And that was on one dip. You're going to use the one dip on your entire nose. I'm forming and intensifying the shape of the tip of my nose because it's very rounded, and I want to emphasize that. I like the way that that looks. So yeah, you're going everywhere, and then you're going to go up here. Because if you stop right there, it's like, okay, you have the bridge, but where did the bridge start? I hope this is making sense, and I'm not just talking out of my ass to y'all. But it's just an up and down motion, just blending it, taking your time. This, it's a round and round. And then a final touch for it, because as you see, it still looks crazy right now. You're gonna go over with your sponge. I go sideways because I like to go use the tip for the concealer. So sideways is more so the way I'm trying to go. But that's just to get the extra product. We are pretty snatched right now, but it's not enough. You need to go with the lightest color in that contour. And then boom, put it right there. Boom, come on now. You want to form it exactly and clean it up so that it's not like a brown block. Really cleaning up a lot of what you put down because it will spread. And you don't want that because you want it to really concentrate. This is if you're trying to reform your nose, of course. And again, this is not really, I don't know if I emphasized this before, but this is not your everyday look. This is not your soft glam. This is not your, even just regular glam. This is, I'm on a mission. This is, I'm doing a look today glam, you know? This is not what I'll do every single time that I post on Instagram. Right down the nose. A perfect brush for that too, especially cleaning up the sides, is an angled brush like this, all the way until like the inner corner. As you can see, it's not blended out, but we're highlighting the tip of the nose, down the nose. And again, we're going in with the bronze to re-intensify it. Do you see how my nose looks so different compared to before? I should have done like a before and after picture. But yeah, then I go out with my finger sometimes to just really make sure it's all blended away. Yeah, I'm not doing lashes, y'all. I'm sorry. Now, we're just going to do the same exact steps with powder. So I'm going to leave y'all for a little bit to just kind of speed through it. Do we see the snatchery? It's happening right before your eyes, live, on candid camera. Again, you have to know your face. You have to know your face structure. Play around with it. My biggest advice to people whenever they're like, how do you do your makeup? Whatever day you have off, you have the most free time, look at your face, study your face, get to know it, and try to do makeup. Just take your time, you know? That's the only advice I could really give you. Just take your time. There's no rush to learn every single thing. For me personally, I learn like one thing at a time. So, like, I did not wake up and was like, okay, so I'm going to contour my nose really sharp. I'm going to really highlight the inner corner and highlight every other part of my face. I take on one thing at a time because I feel like that just makes it so much easier for me. Just do one thing at a time, learn one thing at a time, focus on one thing at a time, and get really good at it. And again, that chin, come on. This is how I do my powder. I take the powder, and I start with my under eye, and I start with the innermost part, stamp it, and then press in everywhere else. So then we want to go to anywhere else that's really highlighted, anywhere that we purposefully highlighted. And then we go in. Before we do that, actually, because I totally forgot, I want to take your face brush. This is the one that I have from BH. And you want to go over anywhere that you put foundation initially. Even if it's blended out and it's gone, you still want to do it. Shit, I'm running out of time. Especially under where you contoured to make sure that it's exactly where you wanted it. Going back to the powder, we're going to dust anything left on the brush over the rest of the face. So if you run out, then you want to take the smallest bit to where you can barely even see it on my brush, and then powder. You're really not going for a lot because it's a light powder. If it's a powder where it matches your face, go off, sis. But I find that I really don't need powder everywhere, especially because, again, I live in New York and it's cold as shit right now. Really no point. After you powder, always go in with your sponge to re-moisten the area. And today I'm not creasing as bad, but before you even powder under your eyes, go under and really press in inner corner to out to work those creases out. But surprisingly today I'm not creasing that much. The last step is blush. So for me, what I personally like to do now is, especially with this type of look, other looks I'm more like side to side, like really natural looks. But when I'm doing a look that's more full coverage, I want to emphasize the structure that I created for my face with blush included. And then I'm taking where, if I smile, you see exactly where I was putting it before. I don't want a lot right here because, again, we took the time to highlight right there. I'm trying to make sure the highlight is still seen. Watch this, bro. This changed the game for me because I started contouring my nose every now and then for specific looks, but this right here took it a step up. It's right here. Number 9 in the BH Cosmetics. If you get the same set, it's this one. It's fucking perfect. So you take your blush, the same blush that you use on your cheek, and you go right where you contour with your nose, and look at this shit. Ugh. I can't even tell y'all all my secrets. But it's just too good to keep to myself. Do y'all see that? But I am going to go over the top of my nose with some blush. Just that much. And then I'm going to stamp whatever's left right here so it doesn't create a gap. My class is literally just about to start. I had to join the Zoom. Eyeliner and lips, and then we are done. I'm not going to do a lot of eyeliner either because I'm not feeling like that either. Probably should have kept my hair clipped, but I forgot. That is it for this look. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you learned something. I don't know, I'm obsessed with this look, this lip color. Are we seeing it in the natural lighting though? Do we see how this looks? I hope that you took your notes, you learned your tips, And yeah, if you enjoyed, please don't forget to give this a big thumbs up. And let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. Are y'all more interested in lips or eyes or brows? Do y'all need anything centered around them? Obviously, there's a lot less involved than the base, so those would be a lot shorter. Again, if you guys enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.